Thank you for tuning in once again to the Resilient Entrepreneur Podcast. This is Kevin Johnson of Leverage Consulting. As always, I have questions, tips, pearls, tricks, different things for you. In this podcast, I will probably have the softest yet the hardest conversation or talk with you today. And this one is mastering the question, why? Because I can assure you, if you master that question, why, it's probably one of the most universal, again, it's going to be one of the hardest things you do, but I assure you it will have one of the highest ROIs of anything that you do. And I'm going to give you a number of reasons why, but I'm going to give you a number of reasons why mastering the question, why, is going to benefit you and the people who surround you. So why is one of those words that can be used in many different ways. I mean, it can be very simplistic or it can be very complex. So let's talk about application of the question, why? So many of you struggle with new things, new challenges, if I think about my client base right now, or friends, family, different people that I'm in contact with, people are struggling with glass ceilings or new concepts or doing something differently. And oftentimes, mastering the question why in a situation like that is going to help you get from point A to point B. It's going to help you, in one of my favorite phrases, is move the needle. Too many people get stuck on black or white or blue or yellow or whatever it is. You know, they're stuck on either something is great or it's terrible. And life is not like that. The question is, are we moving the needle? Thomas Edison did not invent a light bulb in one shot. Didn't happen. I think he said he figured out 10,000 ways it doesn't work. Albert Einstein did not solve everything in one shot. He said he's not the smartest man in the room. He is someone who is persistent. He kept asking the questions. So when you find yourself in a position where you're struggling or you're anxious or any other emotion that might be as a result of, I'm doing something different, or I'm in a place where I've got pressure where I didn't have pressure before. Let's talk about your future for a moment. You might sit down and say things need to get better, or I need to make, let's just say you say, I need to make another $100,000. Or I need to make another 20 grand. I need to make another 5 grand. I need to make another million, whatever it is. You need to learn how to start asking why. I could do in another podcast how. That's another topic all in itself. But right now, let's focus on the why, because the power of why is one where if you understand your why with your future. I have someone who's close to me who have 3 family members that will need to be cared for the rest of their life, okay? Their why is going to be those 3 people. So them increasing their income or doing something differently to ensure that those 3 people will always be cared for is part of their huge why. For you, it might be that I don't want to work until I'm 75 years old, and then my body is in a point where I can't do things like when I was 30, 40, 50 years old. I want to retire early, and I want to be able to do things with my spouse and my kids or whatever. That in itself could be the big why. I want to put my kids through school. I want to pay for their weddings. I don't want to pay for their wedding. I want to send them on the most amazing vacation they will ever go on in their life. Those are things that are big whys. And those things, when you encounter resistance, that's the time where you just don't care anymore. Because your why becomes so big, you just don't care about the resistance or the obstacles or anything else. If we take the question why and apply it to something else, well, what if it's, I'm going to implement a new system? And it might be something that's somewhat unpopular. Maybe the system is unpopular, maybe for yourself. Maybe you think, it makes me feel icky or uncomfortable with this new system. Or my team is going to revolt because they don't like the new system. The reasons they may be revolting, or the reason you may feel icky about this, we go back to the why and figure out, well, why do we have to do this? Well, let's just say if we've always allowed our clients or our patients to control our schedule. And we just take whatever they give us, as opposed to, no, we do it the other way around and we control our schedule. The why is, if we're able to have harmony and predictability and productivity, efficiency with our schedule when we control it, as opposed to allowing our patients or our clients to control it, that in itself should be your big why. I mean, you think about the polar opposites of this, and if we allow them to control the schedule, our productivity is down, our efficiency is down, our predictability is down. I could go on. Well, what's the inverse of that? If we control it, we have predictability, we have efficiency, we have productivity. And guess what else is going to come from all this? Lower stress. So those 4 reasons alone should be your big why for potentially implementing a new system and being able to push through the little bit of discomfort or the obstacle, the resistance we encounter. Again, it allows us to push through. Something else to think about, and I'll tie this last one with a new system to, what if you're marketing? What if you're promoting something? You're promoting an event that you're going to put on because you're trying to market your product or your service. Well, you have to have the why down so concretely that you believe it, so you can now explain it to someone else so they believe that I don't want to miss this event. It's going to be really good. So it could be that you're going to have a guest speaker and one that really appeals to this person. It could be that there are certain topics that are going to be covered in this meeting that are going to be near and dear to their heart. So those are whys that when you're trying to get something done through other people, helping them see the why is super important. So when you have, again, a new system like I just spoke about, we may be able to show our team that lower stress and more predictable days are going to come from us being able to control the schedule. That is helping them see the why. When I'm trying to attract someone to an event that I'm hosting and I'm looking to get a big attendance for my event to help promote a service or a product, then if I can show the potential attendees why they want to show up, you're increasing the likelihood. It's not just, hey, I'm putting this thing on next Wednesday, I'd like to see you there. Well, guess what? I've got 14 other people pulling me to come to something next Wednesday as well. As opposed to, oh, by the way, I've invited so-and-so to come speak at my meeting next Wednesday. He's going to be talking about X, Y, and Z. And I really believe that's something that you're going to get a lot out of. Have you ever heard him speak before? And that is something that's going to address a why much greater than, hey, I have a meeting I'm putting on. So what? So that helps them see the why behind the ask for the event. Why is another way to think about using why is modifying behavior. And sometimes modifying behavior could be kind of going back to, again, the system, because we don't change systems without people. Systems are nothing more than a documented whatever on a piece of paper, hopefully documented on a piece of paper. But sometimes it's also about the effect comes from people implementing the system. So we may need them to modify behaviors. And sometimes it could be as simple as, well, you've been late 4 days out of 10. And ultimately, the why behind that is one more time, and I may need to find someone else to fill your position. That's a pretty big why. A why might be, again, implementing the new system is going to create less stress for you in the future. So there's 4 different ways I've covered why today. Why should literally be one of the most important questions you ever ask yourself. And it's one that you should be asking daily and something you revisit daily, because I know that it will help you push through when you have the obstacles and the resistance. So master the question why, and I assure you it will change your future.